Hey everybody, Uncle Dagger here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the VHO Vape Head Origins Helios, which I purchased from www.okcvapes.com. The Helios is a very innovative design, and we're going to be taking a look at it closer so that you can see exactly why. We're also going to be building microcoils in this Helios today, so for those of you who are not familiar with microcoils, this may be a good starting point so that you can try them on your own. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get into this. This is the Helios from Vape Head Origins. Now, as you can see from looking at it, this is readily apparent. There is a air control ring here. And by turning this ring, it's knurled, you can close off airflow partially or fully. For example, if you tend to overdrip, you could close it off fully and you have a more leak-resistant dripper to use. But it does have air holes on either side, a total of 4 air holes. So you can see 2 on this side, and if we spin the device, 2 on that side. Let's go ahead and pull the top cap here. We can see dual O-rings, which is a nice feature to retain the cap. Let me adjust my light just a little bit, try to get a better look at this. But one of the immediately apparent things you see here is that it has dual negative posts and a dual positive post, which is pretty neat. To give you a comparison, here is a Nimbus. I'm going to pull the screw off that, and you can see you do have the terminals here, but you only have 3. You have dual negatives and a single positive. The advantage to this 4-post design is that when you're setting up a dual coil, you have a hole and a terminal screw for each wire that's going to be going into the atomizer. So today we're going to be setting this up with microcoils, and I'm going to show you how I do microcoils. There's a lot of people that are using them, and I've seen many different methods. I'm just showing you one. Remember, with a microcoil, you are trying to go for a maximum heated surface area. So I'm going to do probably 10 wraps per side to see what it's going to come out as. And in this case, you can use a drill bit. You can use a lot of different solid pieces to wrap your wire around. Some people use a needle, a blunt tip needle from a syringe, like I have this one here. But I want to get 2 pieces of this silica, or a doubled over piece of silica in there. So I'm going to go for something that has a slightly thicker gauge. So in this case, I'm using a size 32 drill bit. I bought a Harbor Freight's kit, and they're measured that way. Just by numbered sizes. It doesn't have like a metric or SAE value. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to start wrapping twists as closely together and as tight as I can possibly get them. And I'm trying not to lose count here. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to grab my Helios here, and I'm going to take it off the mod because I do have a battery in this mod. Button's locked, but just for safety reasons. Okay, so I've taken it off the mod, and I'm going to loosen up 2 of the contact screws here. And you need to be able to see that hole is cleared in the terminal. Open that up. So now I have 2 of my terminals open. And I'm going to take my wires and slide these through here. And then it's time to tighten the screws. Okay. So there's terminal screw 1 and 2. And what you're left with is a microcoil. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and trim off the ends. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to edit out doing the other side of this microcoil because it's basically the same process. And then we will come back when it's time to add the wick. Okay, so we're back, and now we have our fully assembled dual microcoil set up on the Helios. If we look at our ohms here, you can't read this probably because of my camera, but it says 0.82, and that's with, and I miscounted, it's with 9 wraps of 28 gauge Canthal per side, which is pretty respectable, and it gives us a nice surface area. This should work great on a mechanical device. Okay, now, this is kind of tricky. A lot of people use cotton with these microcoils. This is what I found works out the best for me. What I have here is a piece of monofilament fishing line, and I need to make sure that these coils are not blazing hot, which they aren't. They've cooled off nicely. And what I do is I take this monofilament and I loop it, and I have about, I don't know, maybe a 6-inch piece here. Let me go ahead and turn the light back on for my camera to focus in. And I'm going to take my silica, and this is 2.5 millimeter silica, and I'm going to double it over, and then I'm going to take one end of my doubled over monofilament. I'm going to run that through there like that. So now what I've done is I've created a pull line. And then I'm going to thread these ends through one side of my microcoil, like so, like threading a needle. And pull that through. Okay. And I'm going to grab, you don't want to have a ton of extra left over, so I'm going to pull this near the end. And then I'm just going to make a nice little kink in it here. And try to work this through. Just like that. See, one of the problems that most people have with microcoils is they make their silica doesn't really come in contact with it properly. As you can see, that coil is a little bit loose. I'll have to tighten that up, but I can adjust that later. So what we've done here is we've made sure that we still have a sufficient amount of silica going through the atomizer. So for this application, that's good. Of course, it's being difficult. That's because I'm on camera right now. Okay. Pull that right through. Okay. And cut the end. Now what I want to do with these microcoils is squeeze them together a little bit so they're all touching. All I'm going to do is I'm going to grab them with the pliers and push them together. That's it. And take my monofilament out of there. Okay. So that's done. That's ready. Let's go ahead and check resistance one more time. And we're at 0.80, which is fine. So let's go ahead and take a look at these coils that we made here. I'm going to zoom in. As you can see, all of the coils in the microcoil are now touching. I did squeeze these together with a pair of pliers, so they're all touching. We're getting some nice vapor production off this already, but let's go ahead and take a vape. Put the top cap back on. Airflow control is all the way open currently, so this is going to be a little bit of an airy draw, but that is okay. Vapor production is great. No complaints there. We've increased the surface area of the coil that is coming in contact with our wick, and we're getting, honestly, the type of vapor production that I'd expect out of a much lower ohm, extreme sub-ohm coil. And this is a 0.80 right now. So that's a quick look at Microcoils and the Vapehead Origins Helios. It's a pretty good vape. Thanks for watching.